Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today at the Katherine Johnson Independent Verification and Validation Facilities Education Resource Center. My name is Josh Revels, and I'm an education outreach specialist for NASA IVNV here in Fairmont, West Virginia. And I'm able to do this because of a partnership that's existed for over 20 years between Fairmont State University and the NASA IVNV facility. And so we have been doing outreach for teachers and students all across the state of West Virginia. And we do that through many of the different goals that NASA IVNV has. So I'm going to take you guys on a tour of our website so that any of you that are going to become teachers in the future or want to share some of this information with anybody in the education field, please feel free to do so. And so one of our main missions is to inspire, engage, educate, and employ the next generation of explorers. And you can see in the graphic here how NASA IVNV's Education and Resource Center does that. Each one of those four terms are color coordinated. And so we try to inspire our younger students through NASA school visits, STEM festivals, and we also have a program called West Virginia Spot, where our college students go to classes and give science presentations to the classes. We also try to engage with those classes through a classroom kit program, which I'm going to talk to you about, through our statewide STEM competitions and also summer camps that we have every summer. And we work to educate both students and educators in the fields of science so that they could eventually get a career in a STEM field. And so we do that through on-site student workshops. We also do virtual student webinars and also educator professional development webinars and workshops. And then we also employ people to work with us at NASA IVNV through AmeriCorps positions. We have summer internships available, and you can see the button here on our webpage, IVNV Student Summer Internships. This is not only education field summer internships, we also have some available in the STEM field to work with the engineers and workers on site at NASA IVNV in Fairmont, West Virginia. So click there and check that portal out. We also have internships that are year-round there, and some internships that we have from West Virginia Space Grant Consortium. Are all ways that we employ people to work in the STEM field. And so three goals that the ERC has is to strengthen public understanding of NASA's missions, to build a diverse future STEM workforce, and to create unique opportunities for students. And so we feel that we really do all three of those through our four areas that I mentioned above, where we inspire, engage, educate, and employ those in West Virginia and surrounding areas. So we are located here in Fairmont, West Virginia. We are one of a handful of facilities across the country, and we fall under the Goddard Space Flight Center, which is located just east of us. And then if you've never been to the Katherine Johnson IVNV facility before, we do have directions. We're just off of exit 132 at I-79. If you're driving by, you can see us just from the interstate. Just look over. There's a sounding rocket in the front yard, and the building itself really stands out. There's beautiful golden letters that have the name of the building on it. We have the NASA meatball logo also. And then these are the folks that work in the Education Resource Center. Dr. Deb Himmler is the principal investigator of the grant and works as the chair at Fairmont State University. We have Emily Helton, myself, and Todd Ensign. We all work heavily with educators and also students. And Ryan Utzman is a robotics lead. So everything that you have questions for about starting a robotics team in the state of West Virginia, getting trainings, coaches trainings, Ryan's the person to get in touch with that. And then on the bottom row, we have Jess White, who's our STEM COTAR from NASA. And then to the left of him are all of our interns or graduate assistants or volunteers that work with us routinely at the Education Resource Center. We are on Facebook. You can click this Facebook icon and you can become a part of our group and see all the things that we post on robotics or science opportunities that you would want to take advantage of if you're a teacher or a student in West Virginia. And so educators and students are definitely people that we serve directly through the Education Resource Center, and we do that through many different programs. But I also want you to note on our website there is a place to go for all of our information for STEM competitions and public events, which includes citizen science. So I'm going to start, though, with the educators. So our big thing with educators is professional development workshops, where you will receive about a 3-hour training or more on particular equipment to do hands-on STEM related activities with students using our Learn and Learn kits. And so how this works is I'll click educators. First, you would browse the Learn and Learn catalog, and then you would select one of those that you think that you could get some teachers together to attend a training. And then you would complete the training, and you can also request the training here using this button. We also will do webinars for some of our trainings. Not all of our webinars come with certifications to borrow or to loan and out our equipment, but they are available. And then once you've completed a training and have received certification on a kit, you can then click this button to reserve that kit for use in your classroom for about 2 weeks at a time. You can also scroll down and browse this calendar for upcoming workshops that have already been scheduled. You're more than welcome to register for ones that are already on the calendar, or contact us if you see one that's really interesting that you would like to see if you can attend. And so there are a couple ways that you can view the Learn and Learn kits that we have available. You can do that through the Learn and Learn catalog or the Browse by Standard spreadsheet. I'm going to first show you the Learn and Learn catalog. It's a bit more animated. We have some artwork here that can direct you to the different kits that we have. And so we've got 6 main areas. We've got Earth and Space Science, Life Science, Math, Energy and Environmental Science, elementary kits, and then also engineering and technology. And you can see the names of the particular kits that we have that are loanable after completing training just beneath the artwork. And so if you want to browse one of those particular kits and with a little bit more detail and learn what's in it, what content standards you would cover if you were to do some of the lessons that we have in the kit. And so if you want to do that, maybe, for example, for space weather, you can click the Earth and Space icon, and then all of those kit trainings will appear as the next clickable options. And so we want to do space weather, which we've identified or suggested for grades 5 to 12. And so you just click space weather, and then it will take you to the catalog page for space weather. So it'll tell you how long the workshop is, the suggested grade level, a brief description, how many kits we have that are available, and what is inside of one of those kits. So the space weather kit has a Coronado personal solar telescope with an H-alpha filter for direct sun viewing, and that's what you see in this image here. I've taken a picture through the eyepiece of that telescope, and you can see a little solar flare and a sunspot in this image. We also have 2 sun spotters for indirect viewing of the sun, 2 solar scopes for indirect viewing, and then we have 6 Apple iPads with space weather apps, the ability to FaceTime one of our education outreach specialists to talk about space weather, and then also the iMovie app so they can create their own space weather forecasts. If we continue scrolling, these are the West Virginia Next Generation Science Standards that correlate with activities that you would use with that equipment. And so we've also embedded links for you to request a workshop directly from this page, or if you want to just come back to the home screen of our website, or if you want to go back to the beginning of the catalog, you can do that here. Or if you scroll to the top of this sheet, you'll see the buttons that will redirect you back to different parts. So this is like this site navigation here. So we can go all the way back to just the 6 main topics that we have, or we can just go back to the Earth and Space Science topic. And so let's just go back to the Earth and space science topic. And so we've got 4, 5, 6, 7 Learn and Learn kits here available. We've got telescopes, planetary geology, after school universe, the electromagnetic spectrum, and magnetic storms. And I don't know if I skipped over Star Lab, but that's a very popular one as well. So if we want to go all the way back to our topics, we can do that from this page as well. And we can take a look at it. Maybe you don't want to use any of that equipment because you're not teaching Earth and space science, or maybe you were looking for something for a different grade level, like you want to go to the elementary section and take a look at some of the kits that are available there. So we have remote sensing with dinosaurs, we have Echo the Bat, Kindernauts, which is always a popular one. So pre-K to 3 is the suggested age group for this. We've got 3-hour workshop for that, and this is some of the stuff that comes in the kit. So we have junior space suits, astronaut helmets, as you see in the picture. We've got 4 puzzles, books about space, a giant pretend rocket ship that kind of constructs itself like a play tent. Then we have a giant cardboard shuttle that kids can get inside of and pretend like they're returning from space on a space mission. We have student glove boxes where kids put their hands inside and try to do some tasks and kind of simulate what it's like to work on the International Space Station. So we have a lot of really cool stuff in the Kindernauts kit. And again, we see the content standards that align with those activities. And then we can go all the way back this time to our topics page. If we want to browse the catalog this way, we can. Or if you have a particular grade level in mind and you know the content standards that you're going to be teaching for the school year, maybe you want to look at our calendar through the browse by standard option. So again, instead of clicking educators, which you can do to find all the other information about educator workshops, if you hover, you'll get the drop-down menu for our 2 catalog options. And so browse by standard is neat because we've done this according to grade level. So at the very bottom of the spreadsheet are tabs that you can click for a particular grade level. So let's go to 6th grade, for example. And so if I go back to the top, you can see that we've got the identifier number. We've got math and science standards in here, and we plan to add more things. I know we also have technology standards in here now as well. So we are continuing to develop this. We have the language of the standard, and then we have these columns where we identify what things we have as opportunities for you. And so those columns are Learn and Learn kits. So that's the stuff from the catalog that I showed you that you can actually get certification to borrow for 2 weeks at a time and then return to us after you're finished using it in your classroom. And then we have the field trips to IB&V with your students. We have our virtual webinars for students, and then activities. These are the activities column are things that you can actually really prep on your own. It doesn't take too much equipment that you would need to borrow a kit from us to do it, but there is a lesson plan and then videos sometimes on how to do these things in your classroom. We also have our own YouTube channel, and so sometimes we make lecture videos or demonstrations of things that we would also link here for that particular grade level standard. And then we have citizen science opportunities. And so for 6th grade, you can see we've got a lot of activities. And as we scroll down, you can see this particular content standard, the ESS1, develop and use a model of the Earth, Sun, Moon system to describe cyclic patterns of lunar phases, eclipses of the Sun, and moons and seasons. Our Learn and Learn kits are the Transit of Venus kit, Space Weather, Star Lab, telescopes. Our trip to IB&V would be the Sun and Space Weather field trip. And you can click that link and it will take you to a description of the field trip and how long to plan for and all of that. And then we have Sun and Stellarium are some virtual webinar opportunities. And this is a whole bunch of activities. So let's just take a look here at the field trip to IB&V. And so for the Sun and Space Weather, you'll get a workshop time frame. So we plan to start things around 9 o'clock at our facility. And so you'd have to leave a bit earlier than that if you're going to bus, a class of students. We can only host 20 kids at once at our facility. So that's our maximum capacity. And then, of course, we got the suggested grade level for this particular on-site field trip, and then an itinerary of what we'll be doing throughout the day. And then we also have our content standards identified as well. So kind of like our learn catalog sheet, but this is more for what to expect in the class when you're here at NASA IVNV. And then if I continue scrolling, you can see that Globe Observer appears as one of the citizen science projects that students can participate in. So this is 6th grade ESS 4, collect data to provide evidence for how the motions and complex interactions of air masses result in changes in weather conditions. And so we've got a lot of stuff available for that particular content standard. We've got Light Up West Virginia, box turtle sightings. Those are 2 more citizen science projects that maybe you want to get your 6th graders involved in. And there are links to take you to their page to where you can learn more about those citizen science opportunities. Citizen science, we can help you do these things. I know that I am a Globe trainer, so I can do the Globe citizen science stuff easily as a training for you, but some of these West Virginia specific citizen science projects that have been coming out recently, I'm going to have to brush up on them, and then I'll be happy to help you also do the data collection for these programs as well. And who better to participate in them than all of you West Virginia teachers and students. So you can see we've got a whole bunch of stuff, an overwhelming amount of things really to talk about just in this video. So if you do find out that you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Josh Revels, and my email address is jrevels, so that's JREVELS @fairmontstate.edu. Okay, let's take a look at the student side of our website. This is just going to talk more about the field trips to IVNV and setting one up. So to request, coming to NASA, you can click this button and do that. Or if you want to set up just a virtual class, you can click here and plan that as well by completing our form. And so here's our catalog for workshops and webinars. It's a bit smaller than our equipment loan catalog. We have 6 pre-planned student workshops. And if you just click the icons, it will take you to the description that I showed you earlier. Remember, we took a look at the sun and space weather catalog entry earlier. So here it is again, or the itinerary for that field trip. And then we also have some webinars here. And then also on the very bottom is our link to the West Virginia Science Public Outreach Team. And this is where undergraduate college students would come to your classroom and do one of their pre-planned lectures and demonstrations for your students. And so you can browse their options on their website by clicking this button, which will redirect you there, or you can just request a classroom visit and click this button. And then to wrap things up here's our STEM competitions page. You'll see a bunch of robotics competitions that we host. We do qualifiers, and the state competition happens at Fairmont State University each year. And then we also have we have a rocketry competition that we also help out with. And so these are all competitions that we can help you with for trainings, getting your team started, and also getting to competition and doing your best on competition day. And so if you want to dive into that, you want to go to the West Virginia Robotics Alliance.org website, which is linked here, and that will help you get all that information you need to start coaching your team. And then public events. So I'm going to click on public events, and you'll see in chronological order, starting with the most recent, we have an archive of things that we've participated in. We have virtual events like our virtual NASA Day in the Park that has a bunch of lecture series and activities available on its own unique website, so you can check that out. We were also in person at the West Virginia Aviation Expo this past August, and so these are things as well that you can expect us to participate probably and be present at in the future. We have a whole bunch of these, and we have a lot of videos embedded in here as well. So check check this out. But if you want to get engaged in citizen science, which is a public endeavor, everybody can be a citizen scientist and intentionally collect data and submit them to databases. And so to do that, you have to, again, hover over public events and click citizen science to get to the citizen science aspect of our page. And so we've got 3 main West Virginia specific ones that I'd like to see West Virginia participate in. The first one being the GLOBE program, which is global, but West Virginia has its part in the GLOBE program as well. Light Up West Virginia, which is tracking certain species of fireflies and lightning bugs. We have also West Virginia DNR's box turtle sightings. And so there's a bunch of information here on how to participate and where you actually submit your sightings and or your data to do this. So thanks again for allowing me to give you all a brief introduction to the Katherine Johnson Independent Verification and Validation Facility, and I hope to work with you in the future.